Hey legends, welcome along to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart. We're getting into Paranormal Activity 3 in this episode, continuing on the uploads as often as I can. I've really dropped the ball over the last month, and October, really the one month in the year you want to be uploading as much content as you can to a horror podcast. I haven't managed to do it, so on my own back be it. But if you have been checking out this podcast, I do apologise for not uploading as much as I should be. So let's get into it with a little chat about Paranormal Activity 3. These are great movies. I'm enjoying them. They're probably not the best movies on the face of the planet, but for what they are, they're great. This one here, it's a cash cow. It really is. Well, it was. And I was just looking at the amount of money that it made. It had a budget of $5 million, and the box office brought on $207 million. That is an insane payback for a film investment. Absolutely class. And this one here does not disappoint. It takes place in the past, but everything ties itself up kind of nicely as you're moving throughout these movies. So we get the backstory of Katie and Christy when they were children, and we heard in prior movies that activity that was happening in the house was, something similar to what happened to them as they were kids. So just, eventually going through the movies, you were kind of expecting to go back here. So at the beginning of the movie, it takes place in 2005 at the start, and Katie delivers a box of old videotapes to Christie's house. She's heavily pregnant at this stage. Her husband Daniel's there. These tapes hold footage of young Kate and Christy with her mother Julie and her boyfriend Dennis. We skip to a year after that. Christy and Daniel's house is ransacked. I just hit the arm for the microphone. If there's a big bang in your ear, if you're listening on headphones, I apologise for that. But yeah, so we see that in the prior movie, I think it was, there was a part of the movie at the beginning where the house looked like it was broken into, so you kind of get that again here, but we see now that the tips are missing, and the VHS footage filmed in 1988 is essentially the rest of the film found footage once again. So we start off with a young Kitty and Christy. They're living with her mother and her boyfriend. Dennis notices that since Christy's imaginary friend Toby appears, a lot of strange things have started to happen around the house. So again, there's the idea of getting video of what happens, and as we move through the series of movies, they kind of did a little bit different each time with the video and the cameras and how they were picking them up. He, one point in the movie, connects his camera up to the body of a fan, a rotating fan that goes from side to side, which is put to some damn good use in this movie. There's some brilliant visuals in this film whenever it comes to the paranormal activity itself, especially in the kitchen. I have to say, I thought they were really done well. So he gets this camera, but of course, being a perv, him and Julie decide to attempt a sex tip, but an earthquake interrupts him after reviewing the footage and noticing an invisible figure revealed by falling dust from the tremor, which was pretty well done. Dennis is advised by a friend to place cameras throughout the house. We've already kind of covered that. That's what you're expecting in these movies. Dennis and Julie hire a babysitter named Lisa to watch the kids, but she becomes desperate to leave due to several terrifying incidents, and that's throughout the kitchen again. There's a great moment there where, the kids are kind of running throughout the house and, like not sleeping properly and whatnot. And you see this figure in a sheet standing behind the babysitter at one point, and you think it's one of the children trying to play a trick on her. But the sheet and just proper shape of a person just drops to the floor. Very well done. Sometimes the easiest scares sometimes are the best scares, and that's what I was kind of worrying about. To go off topic kind of slightly here, moving through the Paranormal Activity movies, you were kind of hoping that even though they're trying to enhance the scares a little bit, sometimes what you don't see is a lot scarier than what you actually do see on screen. Again, I think I've made this comparison before when it comes to freaking people out and scaring people. Just think about Jaws. Jaws is a scary, scary movie, but you don't actually see the shark for the majority of the movie. You're seeing people getting dragged below the surface and blood coming back up, and that freaked people out. And I was never I was never a great swimmer. I've tried to learn how to swim a few times throughout my life. Not a big fan of the water as far as swimming goes, and Jaws never helped the whole case whenever I was a kid. So, as I say, that's a perfect example of a movie that can be scary through the lack of seeing the threat. Moving forward in Paranormal Activity, you're kind of hoping that, they're not going to put too much on screen, and I think at some point in the process they kind of did fall down that hole ever so slightly. But where are we at? The following night, after the babysitter freaks out and disappears, Christy tells Toby that they're not friends anymore. There's a brilliant part where one of the Kitty is dragged into a closet in the bedroom by Toby. It's good. There's a lot of quite good jump scares in this one. So Christy, at this point, Toby, we're not friends anymore, sort of thing. Obviously, it's the evil presence that she thinks is her imaginary friend, but it is some sort of demon. But we get into that more and more as we get through the whole thing. Dennis discovers a strange symbol in the girl's closet, as I say. Christy, or Kitty, was pulled in there at one point. He finds the same symbol in a book about demonology. When Christy becomes mysteriously ill, Julie and Dennis take her to the hospital. When Kitty is left at home with Randy, they're attacked by a black figure which violently flings furniture across the room and scratches Randy on his torso. When Julie and Dennis return home, he informs her of the symbol belonging to a witch's coven that brainwashed girls of childbearing age into having sons and then forced them to give up their sons and forget everything afterwards. But Julie dismisses this as claim. Now, I'm just going to be brutally honest with you here as I'm going through this podcast right now. It's been about a month and a half to 2 months since I watched the movie, so it's not that fresh in my mind. So I'm just kind of looking up some details online here to keep myself straight. For me, that part there, I just went through the black figure flinging furniture across the room. I can't recall if there actually was a dark figure there, or was like maybe a shadow or something. But if I'm off, I do apologise. The demon harms Kitty until Christy agrees to do what it asks. She asks her mother to take him to their grandmother Lois's house in Moore Park, California. Julie agrees after encountering frightening activity herself. At 1 a.m. in Moore Park, Julie and Dennis are woken by loud disturbances. Julie goes to investigate. When she fails to return, Dennis goes to look for her, and he finds occult imagery on the walls of the house. This is really skipping through it. if there's one of the Paranormal Activities I would recommend you checking out, like all of them's good, but this one here is putting a lot of the pieces into place for what's actually going on here. So, yeah, where are we at? There's a symbol from the girl's room. It's there once more. He discovers several women, including Lois, dressed in black. This is the grandmother. He flees back into the house. Now that's, as I say, to give the Jaws story again here. As I say, whenever you start to see too much, it's kind of less scary whenever that happens. So this a cult of witches, or whatever you want to call them, appearing outside of the house and just walking slowly towards the house, and he closes the door, runs back and tries to hide and whatnot, and finds the kids. For me, the scares kind of fizzled out ever so slightly there, because you're getting a physical side to the thing here instead of the paranormal activity that you're expecting. But he gets taken out at the end of the movie in a great, great way. He hides with Christy in a closet before walking into the kitchen, where from a window sees a woman circling around a bonfire outside. Kitty and Lois in the same room as Julie's body. I skipped over something there. Julie wasn't dead, and whenever I went back on the notes. He flees back into the house. The women are chasing him. He finds Julie's limp body levitating above the ground before it's thrown at Dennis. Again, that's an insanely great effect. He then goes to hide in the closet with Christy before walking into the kitchen, where Dennis from a window sees a woman circling a bonfire outside doing their chants and whatnot. Kitty and Lois, in the same room as Julie's body, kill Dennis, and that was a pretty damn good sequence right there, the way he gets taken out. You don't see what's attacked him or what's doing it, but brutal enough, whenever you compare it to, I've said it before, but the first Paranormal Activity movie, that was a very good movie, would freak you out. But that final shot where the guy's flung towards the camera completely killed the end of the movie for me. I just could have thought it been done a lot better. He gets killed. Lois then beckons Christy and Kitty and tells them to get ready before they head off up the stairs. Christy calls for Toby, and growling sounds are heard upstairs until the camera cuts out and the film ends. So, it is a great, great movie. It's not perfect, but a good addition to the franchise nonetheless. And as I said before, when you want to freak people out, sometimes the best way to do it is not to show too much. Kind of beating that horse to death right there, but it is what it is. It's a fact that sometimes what the human mind makes up. You can go a certain distance in a horror movie with just sound effects and just like rattling chains, all that sort of stuff. Put a storyline in place there where you've got some sort of threat in the background. You don't actually see anything, but that's what you're kind of pulled towards, thinking what's going on. Whenever you're doing stuff like that, what the human mind will make up is far more terrifying, really, than what any filmmaker could put on screen. Just the human mind has a way of making things a lot scarier whenever you don't know exactly what it is. But as I said, whenever you get towards the end of the movie and the coven shows up, the scares kind of fizzled out ever so slightly for me. But that's just me. So again, let's just look at the profits this film made back, and before I do the review on the next Paranormal Activity movie, I am going to rewatch it again just to have it fresh in my mind, because like I've really just, barely skimmed the surface here. You get an idea what's going on. But yeah, check it out. So again, $5 million budget. The box office was $207 million. So that is crazy money to bring back. Having said that, I don't know what the budget would have been for, promoting the movie. Sometimes when people give you a budget of a movie and say, just take us, for example, $5 million, you could almost say that, between marketing costs and all that sort of stuff before the movie's released, you get maybe put the same amount of money on top of that again. So let's just say $10 million altogether. Let me see, box. The film broke financial records upon release, setting a new record for a midnight opening for a horror film. Best opening day for the movie in the United States was $26.2 million in one day. Crazy. As I say, these movies when they first came out were absolute cash cows. Unbelievable. Right, I think that is going to do it for this episode. Once again, I want to apologise for not getting as many uploads out as I really should have done at this point for October, but it is what it is. I've dropped the ball off it, and hopefully moving forward I won't be dropping it again. So you're going to get multiple uploads this week just to finish off Halloween. Currently I'm off work at the minute on holidays, officially for a change, and I will get a chance to record more and more over the next few days. So I'm going to crank out a podcast a day up until the end of the month here, just as an apology for being a disaster on the creepiest month of the year, Halloween. So just in case the wheels do fall off me again, how close are we to the end of the month? We've only got 2 more days after this here, so me making a big claim that I'm going to make a podcast every day for the rest of the month as an apology, that's only 2 podcasts. So I'm going to do podcast today, tomorrow, and I'm going to write up to Friday here, and then we'll do our best to slip back into the upload schedule that this show should have had, which is a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. So that's going to do it, guys. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're doing it safely, and if you're out there trick-or-treating, stay safe, and I will talk to you in the next episode. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.